And welcome to another AFL Fantasy 2025 team analysis video. Things are heating up a bit today as we have a look at the Gold Coast Suns. A big beast off the bat here in the form of Sam Flanders, a defender coming into the 2025 season. He is a ball-hungry player who can play anywhere. He made a big name for himself last year playing off halfback, taking a lot of marks and a lot of kick-ins as well, and also playing throughout the middle. I think with the acquisitions of Dan Rioli and John Noble in the offseason, there have been talks of Sam Flanders maybe playing further up the ground, even in the forward line again, which is what he was as a position last year. He could play anywhere, and there could be a role change on the cards for him this year. But it did help me to a premiership in my home league last year, and I have watched Sam Flanders play, and he just seems to find the footy. He gets on the end of every play, he chains things together. He's there when things get desperate, which happens a lot at the Suns. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes this season, and interesting to see where he goes on draft day. I think he'll be a little bit worse off than last year with those acquisitions, and yeah, still a top 4 midfielder, top 3 midfielder maybe as well. Another beast here who I think has the potential to be a top 10 midfielder is Noah Anderson. Second year in a row averaging 100 plus, and last year was a personal best for him, and I think he'll take his average up another level this year. Hopefully he'll be picking up his away scoring this year, which is where he kind of struggled last year at the SCG, Optus Stadium, Marvel, even at Engie Stadium with the Giants. But we saw in his last 4 or 5 games in 2024 that he had learned from earlier in the season, and he did manage some top tier away performances as well. So hopefully he has just got some more experience this year and he will know what to do in those away scenarios. I just feel like he is the modern day midfielder who has that unlimited running capacity to get open in space very often for lots of marks, and he has that beautiful kick as well, lots of inside 50s. A lethal combination in fantasy. Personally, I see him definitely cracking into the top 10 midfielders for 2025. A serious pick on draft day. Get him in the second round. I think you'll be laughing. On to a few breakouts and sleeper options here, and I've got new recruit for the Suns, Daniel Rioli, coming in for a personal best season this year, I reckon. Traded from Richmond to the Suns in the off-season, and he had a great bit of form in the last 3 years, with his average slightly increasing every year and getting very good game time in that time. Last year he took 34 kick-ins with 100 play-on percentage, which was the third most behind stalwarts in the Richmond lineup, Jaden Short and Nick Vlaston. The Suns seem like they are reshuffling their backline for 2025 with the addition of John Noble as well, and the resurgence of maybe Lockie Weller, and potentially sending Sam Flanders forward a bit more, as I previously said. So I think Rioli's going to be a big man down the back, taking kick-ins a lot. He's been training exclusively with the defensive group so far, and I reckon he could be a chance to be the number 1 kick-in taker this year for the Suns. He's a very, very smart footballer, and he has a great kick, and he always plays on out of the goal square all the time. So I reckon it's definitely time to ramp it up this year, and he's going to get a personal best average of close to 90 with an 88, I'm thinking. A forgotten name from the last couple of years because he's been run down with some injuries, but Lockie Weller, I think, is one to look out for this year if he can keep a good run of it. As I said, he's had a tough run with injuries. He recovered from an ACL all of last year to come back just at the end. When he does play, he is deployed as a halfback or on the wing, and he is closer to an 80 average, in my personal opinion, maybe a late 70s. Just one to keep track of in the preseason for 2025, and one to maybe have a sneaky pick on later in the rounds on draft day. Could be a very, very handy D4 or D5 even. On to a couple of rookies now, and the main one from this year's draft is Mr. Leonardo Lombard. He is a tenacious midfielder who has been a part of the Gold Coast Academy for many, many years. He's already played in a VFL Premiership and played a handful of VFL games. And he should get games early on in his career. Whether you want to jump on that on draft day or wait to pick him up off the FA could be a sneaky FA pickup when he does get named. And he could start in the forward line as well to start his career. So maybe even a forward status DPP change later in the season. Just one to keep an eye on. He does show a lot of promise for the future, and yeah, he'll hit that mark eventually, whether it's first, second, third year. Just keep an eye on him. Another rookie who got a few games last year is Jake Rogers, who now has forward status to start this season. It's another Gold Coast Academy midfielder who drafted not too long ago. Rogers is just a grunt around the ball and also provides very good forward pressure. He had a solid under-18 numbers for the Allies, and I think he should get a few more games this year, especially with that forward status. Does make him a very pick in draft leagues if you are a bit thin in the forward line. Why not have a go on one of these Gold Coast rookies that, could just be the jumpstart or the breakout for the season you need. Who knows? So a couple of people to look out for here in the Gold Coast lineup, and a big one is Alex Sexton, who is a defender coming into the year. He had some good kickouts last year, a couple of good games, but I think with the additions of Daniel Rioli and John Noble, as well again with Weller coming back in, I just see Sexton's average dropping off completely. I don't even know if he is still in the best 22 to start the season. I think all his kick-ins are going to go elsewhere. And pending an injury, he might become significant again. But if the Suns are healthy, I don't think he's in the starting 22. So just bump him down your order, I think. And another one there is the OG Sun in David Swallow. He does have the dual position defensive forward status, but that is not enough for me to pick this staple of the Gold Coast side the last decade. I just don't see him being relevant this year. He's getting on. The Suns are transitioning. Damien Hardwick's maybe going to use him as a substitute a lot, just to add that experience when they need it. And I just don't see him anywhere near fantasy relevant this year. So steer clear of David Swallow. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it gave you some insight on a couple of good Gold Coast Suns players to look out for in drafts this year. If you like this video at all, please consider liking and subscribing. And tune in for the next one. We're going to get into some GWS Giants. So stay tuned for that. Cheers.